a Pantry Studio production.
The following may contain strong language and deals with adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I will be the last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. I won't have your name to call. 'Cause I will be the last to fall.
With over 24% of the 1.9 billion square acres in America alone, the mountains that so many people call home are also host to some of the most incredible mysteries in the world. The missing, the murdered, strange creatures, unexplained lights, and sightings of unidentified objects. These stories may be strange, they may be sad, they may be odd, but they are mysterious. These are the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings. And now, live from the Pantry Studio, broadcast to all time zones around the world, with listeners of the podcast in the United States, Canada, Germany, Norway, India, the United Kingdom, and more. These are the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings. Now, your host, Chris Sloan.
And good evening to everyone. On my currently soiled, stained boots, I stand this evening up on top of a soapbox, and boy, am I going to bitch about this one. The episode that we are releasing tonight, and by the way, if you're listening or watching the video on, you may want to do it from the Mountain Mysteries Facebook page. So if you're somewhere else, check in here. This way I can check out guys and maybe be a part of the chat somewhat. I'm your host, Chris Sloan. You know this. Thanks a lot. Yeah, look over this work attire and stuff. So, I mean, I came home this evening, grabbed a bite to eat, and here I landed with you guys. And I'm grateful to be able to spend some time with you this evening. And thanks a lot. So, if you want to participate in the chat, the Mountain Mysteries on Facebook. Sometimes it goes through with the one on my personal Facebook page, and sometimes it don't. I know I said I was going to have Arrow look at it, but to be honest with you, I forgot all about it. And he's been very busy doing research, writing scripts, helping me out. And matter of fact, he wrote the one that you're going to hear. Maybe it'll be tomorrow when you get to it. Not everybody stays up at midnight to catch this thing. As a matter of fact, I don't know that many people do at all. But at some point over the weekend when you hear it, just know that Arrow wrote it, researched it. And of course, he and I always talk about these things. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when I first heard about Goat Boy or Goat Man, yeah, Saturday Night Live. Anyways, when I first heard about Goat Man or the Popelic Monster, I was kind of, and then he said, well, there's people that were involved in that thing that died. That got my attention. And it's not that I'm a death seeker. I do not take any pleasure in that whatsoever. But like I said, nobody is truly gone until they're forgotten. So with that being said, if we can do something to keep the memories of these people alive, then that's what we do. I was actually contacted by another podcast that I'm going to be on as they talk to us about the Mountain Mysteries. It's growing. You guys telling people about this. Of course, my daughter does, my son-in-law does, the listeners do. I know I've got a lot of faithful listeners out there, and I love you all for that. And it's not because this, my ego, I'm 50. My ego went the way of the T-Rex 20 years ago. I do this for April. I do this for Tim, Dwayne, Merrill, I do this for people, the 46 people on the Silver Bridge that collapsed. How did the Mountain Mysteries come about? You know that story. And we continue, and we will continue. You can support us on Patreon if you'd like. We are independent. We don't get money from Wondery or MSNBC or any of these people. And that's fine because I'm not going to be told how to do this thing. I do it to suit the families and the listeners. You guys are the ones that matter here, not Joe Bank. All right. If I was doing it strictly for money, it would have been done with a while back. And I do love being behind a microphone, and I've got a face for radio. The young man that we are talking about this evening, this is one of those cases that just kind of grabs you and it shakes you. His name's Derrick James Engebretson. He was 8 years old when he went missing, literally. Now, here's the thing. This story takes place in Oregon. I told you that we were going to branch out. Coming up soon, we go to Australia. We're going to have a topic of conversation on a podcast about a place in Australia called Black Mountain. But anyway, and that place is jacked up, man. But this is in Oregon. It's called Pelican Butte. He was 8 years old and came from a family, and this is what kind of got me about this. Is it uncommon for somebody to go missing in the woods? No, it wouldn't be for me at all because I don't know. Hell, I got to have a GPS to get out of the driveway. But this kid grew up in a family that were very outdoors or outdoorsy folks. His dad, his grandparents, his mom, they loved to spend time in the outdoors, and they knew this area specifically extremely well. They knew this place. So the story basically starts off with, just about every year, this was a couple of weeks before Christmas in 98, just about every year they would go out and they would find themselves one of those big, beautiful, fluffy pine trees, like the fir pine, I think that's what they're called. Anyways, this year, for whatever reason, Derek's mom had decided, well, let's go with an artificial tree. Cleanup will probably be easier. And anybody that's ever had a natural Christmas tree, and I did when I was a kid, I'm telling you, the cleanup on them, it's pretty tough. My mom griped about it until after New Year's, and I don't blame her. But they leave behind a lot of pine needles. Anyways, they say, okay, we'll get an artificial tree this year, no big deal. Well, an act of kindness from their heart kind of lit it too. I'm kind of checking out comments and stuff elsewhere too, so bear with me. Okay, an act of kindness from their heart stemmed from the next door neighbors who were disabled people, and they wanted a real tree. Well, due to their disabilities, they could not go and get a real tree. That takes, you got to chop, hack, saw, whatever. And Derek's dad said, well, yeah, okay. His name was Robert, by the way, but and his mom's name was Lori. But they said, well, okay, let's go help these folks out. Let's get them a nice Christmas tree. Beautiful sentiment, beautiful gesture. So they go with Derek's granddad, Bob, I think was his name. And they go out looking for this tree. And it's right there on the side of Pelican Butte. Now, let me describe this to you. Oregon has things called volcanoes. Okay. And this is kind of like it's a dormant shield volcano. In other words, it's not active. It's got a lot of forestry and stuff on it, but it's very steep. So they go out looking for this tree. And Robert, who is Derek's dad, says, look, stay behind with your grandpa. I'm going to go up, take a look, scout, see what we can find, get him a nice tree. And then you guys just catch up with me in your time. Well, apparently the whole time, Derek was, I want to catch Dad. I want to go with Dad. I want to go with Dad. And finally, the granddad said, yeah, okay, go ahead. Because Derek knew this section of the woods really well. So Derek runs off, right? Like most 8-year-old kids would do. And that's the last time anybody sees him. I have the script that Errol wrote up there for some copy points. But that's the last time anybody sees him. A big hello to James Paul Prim from Paris, Kentucky. I've had people on this podcast before that have lost children. April was 16 when she died. Dwayne was 20. Tim was, lower 20s, 22, 23, 20. But to lose an 8-year-old child, that's a deeper level. I mean, it's all deep. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying that's wow. How do you deal with something like that? How do you deal with any of that? But this kid goes missing. So the dad and the granddad meet back up. Where's Derrick? Granddad said, I don't know. I thought he was with you. He said, no, he's with you. Well, apparently he's not with anybody, at least not those two, anybody. So this story goes on for a spell. And again, tea and honey, it's great for the voice. Even though it doesn't sound like it right now, it'll take effect. This guy goes missing, and they don't see hide nor hair of him again. Now, that's in 98. This is 2021. So this is almost a quarter of a century later. But now he'd be in his 30s. Never hear or see from him again. It gets crazy deep right here. They run back onto the road. They're looking for their kid and their grandkid. This person stops by, passing motorist, says, what the hell are you all doing out here? There's a blizzard coming. And yes, there was. And it was going to be a slobber knocker of a blizzard. So I said, well, we're looking for our kid. Can you help us? Can you call 911? Can you do something? Guy goes up the road 3.5, 4, 5 miles to an outpost, like a little diner / you get the idea. Anyways, he goes in and he calls 911. 911 operator says, well, the dad has to be there in order for us to send anybody out. We can't send out an army. And here's where it gets good. The police and the search and rescue teams are having their Christmas dinner this evening. We don't want to disturb them. You heard that right. When I read that, because I'm friends with some of the rescue squad members, and I got to say, the county I live in, we've got a world-class rescue squad. They don't give a rat's rip if they are in a dinner, in training, whatever. They are coming yesterday. I've seen those guys in action and ladies. And let me tell you something. They put foot to ass every time that bell rings. That, and I don't care to say it, it's the Floyd County Emergency Rescue Squad right here in Kentucky. They are among the best in the world. I'd put them up against anybody. These guys go, go, go. And these ladies, these people, they're all about helping other people. It was instituted after the Floyd County bus crash in the mid-1950s with a promise that if we can do something to stop this kind of tragedy from happening, by God, we're going to. And that's exactly what they've done. They've saved, I don't know how many lives, helped I don't know how many people, and they are strictly volunteer, nonprofit, and operate off donations. So when I read this, and I talked to Arrow about it, I said, are you telling me, and explain this to me like I'm a 3-year-old, are you telling me that because they were having a Christmas dinner, they didn't want to come out? He said, no. What I'm telling you is because they were having a Christmas dinner, the dispatcher didn't want to disturb them. Oh. And then it still took them a couple of hours to come out. Anybody that's ever went on a search for a missing person knows good and well that it takes every single second. If you lose a second, then you could lose a life. Every second counts. So let's say 3-4 hours later, cops show up. 5 hours later, whatever it is, the search and rescue folks show up. By this point, this kid could be halfway to China. We don't know. Okay, that's a mistake. Number one. So they look and they look and they look. And of course, nighttime is settling in. They got there a few hours ahead of time. Of course, Robert doesn't think, Derek's dad doesn't think that this is going to be but a 30-minute, an hour thing. Go up there, get you a nice fir or get you a nice pine tree and take it to the next door neighbors, and they've got a Christmas tree. There you go. Problem solved. Nobody anticipates on somebody going missing, especially their child that knows these hills like the back of his hand because he's been in them so much. Robert's very outdoorsy. Lori's very outdoorsy. Don't know much about Derek's older sister, Amy, or his other brother, whom name I cannot recall at the moment. I'm sorry. But Derek has been right there with him. He knows these woods. Most of us that grew up around mountainous area have a tendency, at least when we're kids, to do a little bit of exploring and figure it out at some point. So anyways, these people know what they're doing. So how is it that he goes missing? Well, as you listen to the episode, you're going to come to the same conclusion I did. Apparently, there's one of those sick, twisted psychos who's got a thing for little kids. This guy is said to have abducted him, possibly raped him, and then disposed of him after he murdered him. I don't know. I'm going to let you draw your conclusion on that. Listen to the entire episode tonight, and I think that you'll get a lot better idea of what's going on with this. A big hello to Tony Fairchild from Winchester and Ben Steph Blankenship from Georgetown, where the Camrys are made. I love Toyotas. I do. Not to give them a plug or anything, but hey, great cars. And they're made right here in Kentucky. That tickles me too. So with that being said, this episode is going to drop around midnight. Like I said, Spotify always picks this stuff up first and runs with it. As I was actually listening to the Mountain Mysteries podcast today at work. And of course, I'm sitting there doing my thing, doing what I do, getting stuff organized and ready and all that stuff and doing what we do. And I thought to myself, I actually got lost in it for a minute because I wasn't paying attention to the fact that it was this team doing that. And I remembered thinking to myself, this thing sounds pretty decent. And I'm not blowing my own horn here because it's not just me. It's a team of people. My son-in-law does research. He writes the scripts. He takes care of the website. My daughter does the artwork. She's a sometime voice actor in this. And I remembered listening to the episode. One of the ones in particular was episode 9, The Mountain Mystery of the Watcher at 657 Boulevard. Creepy as hell. And I remembered thinking when I heard her voice, what? That thing's just, ew. And then we went back and listened to episode 4, Tears of a Star, Merrill Baldridge. That hit home. And the one with Dwayne Lovelace and April Pennington, those always rip your heart out, or they do mine. But I got to say, when we were contacted to do the interview with Spooky Family Podcast is the name of them. I think that we're doing that next week, I guess. I don't know. I said, yeah, sure. And they even complimented us on how professional and how well put together it is, which was a huge compliment. So thank you all that believe that, feel that. And for, like Ben on here said, look forward to this thing every week. I can't tell you what that means to me. That is like putting gas in an empty tank, filling it up. It's motivation to keep going. Like I said, it's not about the money. It's about getting the stories out there. Some future episodes that are also coming up include one on, it's like a Bermuda Triangle, only it's in Vermont. And some of the stuff these people have went through, it's weird, spooky, creepy, and I hate to say this, a bit fun, but there's been a lot of mysterious vanishings. Sadly, I know of at least 1 or 2 people that have died there. Then we've got one coming up with Australia. And then we're doing a update episode on April Pennington. That's coming soon too. Kept quiet about that. Fact of the matter is I don't want to stick my foot into the middle of an investigation that is ongoing and stir the pot in a way that's not productive to justice. But we think that we've got some new stuff there. We're hoping. So we're going to look into that. And that's one that I definitely want Sharon back in here. And when we do the gatherings, I'd love for her to be on there with this. She has been excessively busy here lately. I know that she normally sits in here. And thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. Best show on Thursdays. That's saying a lot. Good thing The Sopranos stopped running their thing like some years ago. Yeah, and that's something else. And I just got to throw that out there just to give you a clue into my life. I had never watched that show, The Sopranos. A friend of mine put me onto it, and I'm hooked. I'm already into season 5 and can't quit. It's crazy. James Gandolfini, rest his soul. What a guy. Great actor. Anyways, back to the Mountain Mysteries. There's several things that we're looking at doing with the website too. We are introducing a line of clothing for kids. And I got to thinking, right now it is very hard for parents to help kids with school supplies. Back to school is just around the corner. So next week, we're going to have like a little Mountain Mysteries quiz. And if you know anybody that's got kids, you might want to have them watch this. I'm going to see if I can have some help over here. And we are going to do what we can to help at least a couple of these kids with backpacks, pencils, school supplies, and stuff like that. I got to admit, I don't think I was a great dad when my kid was growing up. I was okay. But I was one of those people that thought you had to be making a lot of money in order to be a good dad. Well, nothing could be further from the truth than that. That is a bald-faced lie. What you got to do to be a great time or to be a great dad or a great mom is give them your time. That's the most important thing in the world, and you cannot put a price tag on that. I always had my mom and dad's time. We didn't have a lot of money growing up like most of you guys, but we had each other. And let me tell you, looking back on that, me being my age now, looking back on that, that was the most incredible gift I could ever have gotten. And I wish I could have done the same thing for her. So now I'm making up for it in spades. Every chance I get, she lives very close to me. Every chance I get, I'm all about that. So if there's something that we can do to help mom and dad make ends meet with school supplies, we're going to do it. You can look on the mountainmysteriespodcast.com and check out the backpacks. And we're probably going to give away a few backpacks and T-shirts and pencils. And I don't really know what school supplies are now because, hell, when I went, we used these archaic things called pencils and paper. Well, now they got iPads. They've got computers. I don't know. So I'm going to talk to some people. Maybe, I know a few teachers and say, what do you guys need for this stuff? And these are for the kids. And I don't care what age the kids are. The Mountain Mysteries backpacks are really cool. I mean, seriously, they are. They're built really well. Everything that we've got on that website, it's not cheap made stuff. It's good stuff. So, yeah, we're going to get some of that stuff for the kids too. But that's coming up next Thursday right here on Gatherings. We're going to do something with that. And, yeah, I had that thought today. And, I don't sit down on some of this stuff and say, well, we got to do this, this, this. All I think is these kids need something. So we're going to see what we can do to help. And if you guys want to donate and pitch in a little bit to help with that's cool too. I'd love to do some kind of a drive to help kids. There's a lot of needy kids all over this state, all over this country that could use something like that. So we're all for that, and we're going to do what we can to help. So tonight at midnight, that episode is going to drop, and it's called Broken Dreams, about Derrick James Engebretson. It is heartbreaking. That was a tough episode to produce, but I've got to give hats off to Arrow. He done a great job with it. And we've got one coming up too about a cult. It's called, the cult's name was Love One, as in WON, like, winner number one. No, it was Love One. And I have been trained over the course of years to not use certain words when I'm sitting behind a microphone because of the Federal Communications Commission. Well, I know the FCC does not rule this. They do not rule the internet yet. But still, I don't think that it's probably a good idea for me to go and say what I'm really thinking about this bunch of holes. I've never been one to see the appeal in a cult, but apparently there are people out there that do. First thing I'd want to do is shake them awake and say, "What are you thinking? Don't do that. Give up your money, give up your home and your family for some guy who says, well, we're riding a comet to wherever. I guess it was to heaven. I don't. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know. I knew of one way to get to heaven. That's through Christ, not a comet. Don't think a comet ever played into that anywhere. Uh, a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and it's been super difficult, super busy, super hard. And now I'm told that the COVID numbers, and I'm not going to get off on that, but what I was told was the numbers are going back up, and all I can say about that is I pray that we use knowledge and not fear to guide our actions. And don't get me wrong, this is not a go-to. I think it's a real virus. I don't think that it is make believe, but I also don't think that the people that really know about this thing are parting with the information. I guess we're being kept partly in the dark, maybe to be. I don't know. It sure doesn't feel right. I'll say that. To me, it doesn't feel right. So, but by the same token, I do believe it's a real thing, and I know that real people have lost real lives over it, and I've got the utmost respect and sincere sorrow for that. I don't want to see anybody contract this thing and get ill. I don't. I really don't. So, spread the word that next week we're going to, I don't know. We'll figure out a way to do something to maybe help some of these kids get back to school. And wherever you're listening or watching this at, it goes for you too. I don't care if you're in Seattle. I know we've got people that jump on here from time to time. Check us out. And on the West Coast, they're in Seattle. Of course, Seattle is like 3 hours behind us. So there right now, it's like 5:30. Excuse me. And of course, we got a lot of them out here, on the East Coast watching too. So if we can do something to help somebody, I'm all for doing that. Because like I said, the Mountain Mysteries is about the people. And as far as this other podcast, the Spooky Family, I've listened to a few episodes of it. It's really it's fun to listen to. It sounds like they're great people, and they're having a good time. But yet they know when it's time to, hey, let's do this. They do it, and they bring forth the facts, and they do it in a fun way. So it's engaging, it's entertaining, but it's called Spooky Family, I believe it is. So yeah, you guys may want to check that out, and I'll let you know when the episode that has us on it will air. And I would like to have some of those folks on here with us. One night on the Mountain Mysteries gatherings. Our podcast is. I'm not going to stay strictly scripted, but we like to stay on point because I think that's the best way to honor people's memories. If I'm talking about Joe Black, who passed away because John Doe killed him, then all of a sudden I start talking about a Toyota Camry that's manufactured in Georgetown. See, I can do that on the gatherings. I can kind of let myself free. I don't want to do that on the podcast for the obvious reason. I want to honor these people's memories. I want to bring you the facts, tell you the story, and hopefully you'll enjoy it and you'll remember it and you'll tell a friend, hey, did you listen to that episode on Meryl Baldridge or on Frozen or on take your pick. Right now, I think we're up to 21, 22 episodes. My, how time has flown by. I was actually helping Arrow or going back and making a few editing changes in a script. And I said, there's no way in hell that this is episode 21 or 22. Yep, it is. It sure is. Before long, we'll be at 30, then 50, then 100. Of course, 52 episodes makes a year. That should land right around March 5th of next year. And I can say, out of everything I've done with this gift, if that's what you want to call it, with my voice, this has been one of the most fulfilling. I've had a ton of fun doing programs for Q95 FM and a lot of other things with the top 5 at 5 and the reel to reel and just being on the air and doing the live broadcast stuff. Met a lot of cool people, a lot of great people. But nothing has been as fulfilling as this. And, it's like my mom, rest her soul, used to say, you've got a gift from God. We all have a gift from God, whatever that gift may be. For some of us, it's voice. For some of us, it's music. For some of us, it's singing. I am not that guy. My daughter is that girl. I am not that guy. I cannot carry a note in a bucket. But everybody's got a gift. And whatever that gift is, what you do with it is a gift back to God. So use your gift. And if you're miserable, remember, think of seconds as pennies. Hours are dollars. Difference between time and money is once you spend money, you can always make more of it. You can't do that with time. Every second you spend unhappy is a penny or that second that you'll never get back. So spend it wisely. Be happy. Even in the difficult times, realize there is a God. He loves you. And even if you're like me sometimes and you're wondering how, He does. How does a father love his children? How does a mother love her children? They just do in most cases. So be happy in that moment. Be happy knowing that whatever difficult time you're going through right now, you're going to get through it. Things will get better. And put all those thoughts down that you're not good enough. You're good enough. You're more than good enough. The good enough standard, that little bar looks at you and wishes it could be you. That is a fact, not a thought, not an opinion. It's a fact. You're good enough. People say, well, I've got this shortcoming or I've got this shortcoming. God doesn't make mistakes. But inevitably, we take the gifts that we're giving, and sometimes we do make mistakes. We're fallible. We're people. That's what happens. I'm reminded of that all too often as I look into these episodes that we do. And it started with the very first one with April. And it has just built and built and built until I am thoroughly convinced we can all be a force for good. We can all do something great with our lives. Maybe we don't think it's so great. And let me give you a case in point. I'm wearing one of our shirts the other day. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm an hour and a half from home. And I will stop off at a convenience store, go in and, get a drink and something to snack on. Anyways, somebody sees the shirt, and on the back, it's one of the Stay Mysterious ones. And they just kind of tap me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and there she is. Don't know her from Adam. And she said, I have listened to that. Because on the front, it's got the Mountain Mysteries logo. She said, I have listened to that. She said, how did you get that shirt? And I said, well, the website's got a podcast. You just go on there, and little menu bar, you click shop and pick out what you want. She said, how much are they? And I said, it's like 17, 18 bucks, something like that. It's not bad. And she looked at me and she went, you're the guy that does it. And I said, yeah. To me, it's not a big deal. See what I'm saying? To me, I get behind this mic in this studio and I'm talking to friends. That's all I'm doing. But she had heard the episode, which was about Dwayne Lovelace. She told me, she said, I spent a good half hour after listening to that crying my eyes out. And I said, well, yeah. I said, I did too. I also did on April's case. I did on Meryl's case. Yeah, it happens. I said, I understand that. And then she said the most amazing thing to me. She looks at me and she says, she said, I found hope out of that. You found hope out of that? She said, yeah. She said, somebody cared enough to step up and do that. Talk about him. She said, and if I'm guessing right, this podcast, you've got people all over listening to it. And I said, yeah, it's right now I don't know how many countries. It's a bunch. And she said, so he's not going to be forgotten. I said, that's my whole intent, that he won't be forgotten. Part two, in best case scenario, is who did this? Well, they throw them under the damn jail. And I don't need a second's worth of credit for it. I want to see his family at least have that closure. Like I said, closure is the most overused word in the English dictionary. We don't get closure until we're back with them. But if they can get some sense of justice, that the system actually does work, which I believe it does take time. Justice operates on its own schedule, on its own timetable. But if there's somebody guilty of something, the best we can do is hope, pray, and work towards the end that they pay for it. There's opinions out there, but opinions are not like nostrils. Everybody's got them. Yes, I was going to say the other thing, but that's the FCC training coming out in me. Excuse me. So I really look forward to doing what we can to help kids, and we are looking at planning something for Halloween. I would love to get a bunch of kids together and have like a safe trick or treat thing someplace that's safe for them to come and safe for the parents to come and do a reading of something for them, like the Headless Horseman. I love doing stuff like that. I love watching the kids go. Wow. I love seeing them inspired. Our kids are our future. Mine has already told me that she's going to put me in a nursing home. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Cody. I'm kidding. But she did say that she wants the Harley and she wants the car. Payback. Got it coming, I guess. Well, we have been on here for about 40 minutes now. I wanted to touch base with you guys, tell you what's coming up tonight. I would love it if you could. If you've already got one of the Mountain Mysteries t-shirts, you can email us at themountainmysteries@gmail.com. Or you can send it through the website, themountainmysteriespodcast.com. I'd love to see a selfie. Or like, I know some people that their entire family has the shirts. See all of you guys together, because I'd really love to have that. And with your permission, use it on opening credits for the gatherings. And I just think that would be so cool. And post it all over our Facebook pages too. Because that really shows, to me, that shows something special. That you guys are backing us like you are. And I actually had a person the other day contact me and ask about toddler apparel. And I thought, I don't. So I talked to Arrow. Guess what? Now we're getting toddler apparel. Be available on the website. So I think some of it is, we already got like t-shirts for little kids. And they're unisex. So it's good for a little boy, little girl, either one. And the t-shirts are the t-shirts. And they come in a bunch of colors. They come in pink, black, blue. Take your pick. And they make great gifts. Birthday, Christmas, whatever, But I'm hoping that we can get some more of those out there and let the kids wear them to school. Or, people say, well, what's that all about? Because we are still new. When you look at it, our first episode launched March 5th of this year. And I was looking, and I told someone this evening, we've got listeners now in places I never thought we would have. Indonesia, India, Germany, London, New Zealand. Of course, Canada. Yeah, knew that. London, England. But some of these places I didn't even realize had a base of speaking English or English-speaking people. And apparently they do. Unless they're translating it somehow. I can tell you I'm not. The only words I know, and the only words I know in Spanish have to do with Taco Bell. So I'm honored. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I love to see our numbers. On average right now, we're generating 40 to 50 downloads a day, and that's all over the world. It's crazy. But then again, when you think about it, maybe it's not. Because I think that people at their core, at their heart, despite what comes out because of stress and the bad crap that happens, they care. Nobody wants to hear about a 16-year-old girl being murdered. Nobody wants to hear about a 20-year-old young man losing his life. Nobody wants to hear. There's so many. Meryl Baldridge is a perfect case. She passed away in 1949, 70 some years ago. Still brings tears to people's eyes when they hear that episode. Tears of a Star, number 4, episode 4. That just tells me that there are good people out there in this world that they don't want to see these things happen. If there was something that they could do to bring justice to these people or even stop it from happening to start with, most of us, I think, would try to anyway. I got to believe that. Otherwise, why are we here? What's it all for if we're not here to help each other? Again, in the words of my mom, we all have a gift from God. What we do with it is a gift back to Him. What are you going to do with your gift? Think I found mine. Because I do love this, and I do love talking to you guys every Thursday night. And I love hearing the reactions and reading the reactions. I've not found a place yet on Spotify or any of the others, and it could be there. I just don't know about it, where you can leave reviews and, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star. But I know it's on Apple Podcast. And man, when I read some of those reviews, I just feel humbled. I feel gratified. I feel this is doing some good. This is helping some families. These are helping people's, or this is helping people. That's a pretty cool thing to do. It really is. And, the money that we make off the Patreon, the website, it goes to pay, this video streaming thing alone. Could I do it bare bones, plain Jane, straight to Facebook? Yeah, but I want something better. Because when you look up there and you see that little logo right there in that upper corner that says the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings, or when we stream across stuff like, where was the one that I just had on there? Yeah, there we go. Zip across the screen. To me, that's showing something extra in memory of those people we talk about, if that makes any sense. I mean, maybe it's just my mind being warped and not working right, but I've always felt like that. Something that looks professional, that looks good, that catches attention, that people can talk about, make other people want to watch. And inevitably, I've said it 1,000 times, it's for Pete's sake. It's what, July 29th, something like that. It's summertime. I understand not everybody's going to be in there crowded around their phones or their TV screens. Some people watch this on big screen TV screens, I've been told, through their YouTube channel or whatever. But I get that not everybody's going to be inside. It's nice. Here, a thunderstorm's supposed to hit later, but it's nice outside. And in Kentucky, if you want to see the weather change, wait 5 minutes. In West Virginia, pretty much the same way. Tennessee, take your pick. But in the wintertime, I got a feeling that the numbers are going to boost a little bit, but most of our listeners and watchers of the gatherings come within a week after the initial live event, because Facebook, in an infinite wisdom, yes, that's sarcastic, saves these videos, puts it up, and displays it for anybody to watch anytime they want to watch. I checked on one a while back, and it was like at 700 and some views, which isn't bad at all for such a very specific thing. A lot of the things I talk about, a lot of the episodes I do are heavy hitters, emotionally draining. Yeah, emotionally draining. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. The podcast itself. Yeah. This is not comedy. I'm not a comedian. I'm telling a story. Now, some of the things that we've done and seen with the people that we discuss, I can't help but laugh. Like Dwayne, who was like 6 foot tall, trying to ride a tricycle, using his arm to push himself down the street. And I knew April. I knew what kind of personality she had. She can make you laugh on just a rotten day. You're having a rotten day, and she can make you laugh. That's just who she was. And I guess that's why I get so ticked off when I start talking about people killing people over jealousy, over greed. Makes no sense to me. And don't get me wrong, I've been ticked off a lot of times. I've been hurt by ex-girlfriends, hurt ex-girlfriends myself by, it's over, I want to go out with whatever. You get the idea. Never have I thought about killing anybody. Not like that. There's been times I've thought about it with others, but I've never done it, and I won't. It's just not who I am as a person, because I do not have the right to take anybody's life. Unless I'm defending my kid, my brother, or myself. That's the only thing I can justify. So for everybody watching tonight, if you listen to the podcast on Apple, give us a 5-star rating, please. That really jumps it out there a lot. And I got word, I told you this a while back, that based on the early ratings and the fact that we are so new, we're ranking in the top 5 percentile globally. I don't know how they measure that. I don't. I just know I got the email, and normally I wouldn't even mention it because it'd say, if you like more information, send one-time fee of $29.99. I'm not sending them crap. It's not me that's making this thing popular. It's the listeners. It's the people. Well, it's, I hope that your summer so far has gone really well. And I really hope that you stay safe, stay healthy, love each other, try to be kind. Somebody you don't really know, maybe you see them at the store or something, say something nice to them. Maybe the only thing that makes their day could very well, you don't know, it could save somebody's life. I think suicide right now is at an all-time high, and that should not be the case. Life is a gift. A kind word cost us nothing. Not a nickel. Remember, next week we're going to figure out how to get some backpacks into some kids' hands and some school supplies of some kind, even if it's just the backpacks. Like I've not been in high school. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about how long it's been. I know. I don't want to even think about it's been. Oh, no. I'm pretty sure earlier I sneezed and I saw dust. Yeah, pretty sure. Guys, I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for sharing the podcast. Thanks for being a part of it. And thank you for giving up some of your time on Thursday nights. I know there's 1,000 things different that you could be doing, but you're here, or at some point you watch the video and you hear about people like Derrick Engebretson. I'm sorry. And you go through and you listen to the episodes. And I think we're at a point now to where you can do a little binging. There's enough of them there that you can do that. And you learn and you meet April Renee, and you learn and you meet Tim Stambo and Dwayne Lovelace and Merrill Baldridge. And you learn more about the Point Pleasant Mothman thing. And you learn more about Frozen and how it affected all of those people when that flood came through there in 1939. You hear from these people. And just for a split second, maybe you put yourself in their shoes. And just for a split second, we all grow. We all become a little bit more than what we were yesterday. Because we're thinking about somebody else. That's powerful to me. Again, love, light, blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay kind, stay mysterious.
From one coast to the other, mysteries are everywhere, and we will continue to pursue the answers to those questions and more. Please share, like, and rate the Mountain Mysteries podcast, and tell your friends to tune in on Facebook or YouTube. The Mountain Mysteries gatherings are each Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to support the Mountain Mysteries, search and help these families, join us on Patreon, or you can make a one-time donation as well. The Mountain Mysteries and the Mountain Mysteries gatherings are property of the Pantry Studios and Chris Sloan, who writes and produces the content. If you would like to reach out to the Mountain Mysteries, please email us at pantrystudio@yahoo.com. Until next time, my friends, stay mysterious.
A Pantry Studio production.